Salvete o Wedentes. My name is Draco, and this is Antigua Culina, the show where I recreate ancient recipes and discuss their ingredients and history. As usual, sources are in the description, but first, a libatum to Vesta. So far, ordinary recipes: sour chicken, boiled beans, cucumbers. It almost makes you forget how much of the ancient world would suffer chronic food insecurity and would hence find themselves eating whatever they could. To that end, licorice shrimp. Yes, licorice shrimp. No, I don't think it will turn out horribly, and no, I don't think this will be the worst recipe so far. Let's get this shrimp. Here is the recipe as appears in the De Re Culinaria, with translation provided. As usual, I compare my translation to the Veiling translation from the Penelope U Chicago website. This recipe seems simple enough. Build a sweet reduction sauce to coat the shrimp in, the spices to flavor, but then what? How to cook the shrimp? Stir fry? Grill? I'll opt for the former, trusting in my skills for an unusually flavored dish. One hiccup is the meat itself. Locusta, the word here, translates more simply to crustacean, but could really mean shrimp or lobster. Maybe I should have filmed this one while in New England. Alas. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pound of headless, deveined shrimp, some amount of onion, I used green onion, around 2 tablespoons olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon each of black pepper kernels, licorice root, caraway seeds, cumin seeds, and mustard seeds, 1 tablespoon each of honey and date syrup, and 2 tablespoons each of vinegar, wine, and pseudogarum. To begin, defrost that shrimp. For the most ease, empty it into a bowl, cover with hot water, and leave water on trickling into the bowl for about 10 minutes. Pat dry, cover, and reserve. While this is happening, slice your onion into small bits and fry it in half the olive oil. Let it scream in agony for making you weep while cutting it. And while that is happening, toast your pepper, caraway, cumin, and mustard in a separate pan. Grind it in a mortar and pestle, then reserve. For the licorice, boil it in 1 cup of water for up to 10 minutes. Then take 2 tablespoons to add to the shrimp alongside your honey, date syrup, vinegar, and wine. Once those sweet onions are fully cooked, turn the heat on to low, and then add those luxurious sweeteners, honey, date syrup, vinegar, wine, and then some pseudogarum to taste. We need to keep this a bit Roman, after all, don't we? Stir it until incorporated and let reduce just a little. Coat the shrimp in your remaining olive oil and spices, then fry them in the pan, cook to perfection, and serve. So, why licorice shrimp? Why caraway? Why foreign Persian date syrup? It dawned on me while delivering some oranges. While this recipe appears in the Apicius, it is itself not actually a Roman recipe. While we've established pepper as a ubiquitous ingredient in Roman cooking, these others simply aren't. Licorice, caraway, cumin, and dates all originate a bit farther east than the Imperial Roman heartlands of Italy, eastern Iberia, southern Gaul, and Illyria. While they do appear in the Roman archaeological record, caraway seeds don't hold a lamp to pepper, garum, or even coriander in prominence. By Deus, the only Roman thing about this recipe seems to be the Roman, or rather, simple rural agrarian, of which the majority of Romans were a part of, willingness to eat anything with legs short of a tripod, and anything with wings short of a fascinum. If anything, this recipe strikes me as a Roman localization of a Persian or Indian dish, usually using only the most accessible and available ingredients for it. Basically, the Roman equivalent of cooking knockoff ethnic food, like British chicken tikka masala. As many know, localizations do often lose things in translation, except for plague, of course. The other major interpersonal exchange between Romans and the East, besides for recipes, spices, and other forms of conspicuous consumption. Let's just hope all those aromatic spices can blot out the smell of bodies putrefying from the Antonine Plague, which arrived in Rome during the 160s, shortly after another war between Rome and Parthia. Despite all that, this dish really does smell delightful. Time for a taste. As I thought, this was really good. It's a candied shrimp recipe, but with a different type of flavoring. I definitely would make this recipe again. However, I would involve anise seeds in the spices to get even more of that specific flavor that caraway and licorice provide. It's not as pronounced as I would like it to be. I also want to try some more primary sources in the next video recipe. To the Cone Fellowship, many thanks for providing me with the funds to buy licorice for a recipe.